morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all my peeps around the globe. This is The Experiment with Joe Soro. And I wasn't planning on coming on tonight. I was actually going to go do my nightcap, but in real nightcap style, not the Lakers fast break nightcap, and relax. But we saw some things tonight that warranted a little bit more noise, and we're going to bring the noise for the next hour or two. We'll see how things go. Tonight, we had a couple NBA games, but more importantly, I think I'm on here mainly because of Mr. Shohei Ohtani, top of the ninth, tied 11-11. And all of a sudden, what do we see? We see the MVP decide to go, yeah, we're going to go ahead and take care of this for you. Arizona, suck my nuts. Ohtani takes the pitch and clickety claps it out of the ballpark. Well, not literally, but you know what I mean. And ends up giving the Dodgers the game-winning 3-run lead with Tanner Scott closing it out in the bottom of the ninth for the win. Yes, I thought, I'm sure most of you thought, that they were cooked, that they were mentally cooked, and they were just cooked in general because it just seems like Arizona doesn't really like to play baseball unless the Dodgers are in town or when they're going to LA. Well, one of the great things about having someone like Shohei Ohtani, and I'm gonna bring it back to you guys last year, game 1 of the NLDS. San Diego was doing what they do, right? Much like how Arizona was doing what they do, right? To the Dodgers. And what did Shohei do? What did that 700 mil do for the Dodgers? Never fear, my friends. That's why I'm here. Shohei Ohtani, soon to be, and I'm predicting it now, barring any injury, a 4-time MVP. Hits it out, cleans the game out. Tanner Scott closes it. Guys, I think you're going to have to get used to this. I really, really do. I think you're going to have to get used to it. And there were a lot of mistakes made tonight, and there were a lot of mistakes that weren't the Dodgers' fault that got enhanced. And I'll get to that in a minute here. It started out pretty good. Dodgers ended up getting a pop fly and ended up going 1-0. Not bad to start the first inning. Then bottom of the first, Arizona's up to bat, and all of a sudden we start seeing home runs again. So Marte hits a home run, hits it 427 feet. Then Suarez turns into Barry Bonds, hits a 2-run homer, hits that one 423 feet. So now you're sitting there, you're like, oh, no matter what these guys do, it just seems like Arizona just knows what these guys are doing. Then in the second, Enrique unloads on an even bigger home run. Takes it 438. I think he hit the air conditioner vent, wherever that was in left field in the stands. And then Ohtani, with Rojas getting on board, ends up getting a double. Scores there. Pages is really coming through, man. I am so excited that this guy's doing what he's doing. Pages singles to left, gets Smith in, gets Freeman in, and then even Outman's field of choice with an error gets everybody in there. They go up 7-3. Betts hits a sacrifice fly. I've seen that 100 times, right? Rojas scores, and then pretty much end the inning in the third, thinking, oh, we have an 8-3 lead. I think this game is over. Thinking Rocky's probably going to, relax a little bit and go ahead and finish the game. The next inning, he gets 6 pitches, 1, 2, 3. And I'm like, oh, Rocky's getting his second win in as many games. So then things got tricky again. Gurriel Jr., what does he do? He grounds out. Suarez scores, gets that little 1-run thing, right? And then Gurriel hits a home run in the 5th, makes it even. And when I mean home run, I mean a grand slam. And that was where I would say that was kind of where things kind of got weird. So Roky, before he got taken out, he ended up walking Marte on a third strike that was not called. It was called a ball. Should have been a third strike. I think that inning goes a whole different way if that gets called a strike, but we'll never know. I was pretty upset after that call because he walked him, and then at that point, everything kind of the floodgates started opening. And then Roberts exasperated a little bit by taking him out. I thought he should have stayed in a little bit, being up 4 runs, and he's been pretty good with having guys in scoring positions. So let him get some run. But Roberts thought it was good to bring in Banda. Banda hasn't really been pitching well this year. Wasn't very happy about that anyways, even if it was the right call. At least that's what I would have said. And then all of a sudden, Banda gives up the second grand slam in as many days, and also is the second grand slam allowed in the last week for him. So Banda, I don't know what Banda's doing. I don't know if he needs to go do another look-alike contest to get him out of his funk, but something needs to happen there. I don't know what it is. Does he need to go on the IL? Does he need to take a break? I don't know, but he's not doing well. Again, this was a game where you had a 4-run lead. I think he should have been able to, handle some things here, but he didn't. So now we're sitting on an 8-8 game in the 5th inning, and now you're like, all right, this is all the momentum now is with Arizona. And you know what's coming. You can feel it. As a Dodger fan, you've seen this movie before. So then the 6th inning comes, Suarez walks, and then Perdomo scored on a pitch that was the worst call of the night. Garcia, who's been much maligned this year, at least by me, pitched actually very, very well and got that guy out. He had him out. That was a strike. I mean, it wasn't even on the line. It was inside the box, and it should have been a strike 3. There shouldn't have been a run scored on that walk. And then all of a sudden, you just kind of get zapped even more with that momentum. And then in the 8th, Marte hits another home run, hits at 443 feet, just 5 feet more than further than Kike, right? So now we're talking, are these guys going to just be, just clapping these guys, these things out and seeing who can hit it the furthest? Well, guess what happens at the next bat? Is it Gruchek? Gruchek hits a home run, almost hits it identical to Marte, 442 feet. Now they're up 11-8. Now we're pretty much, all right, it's a regular season game. They're going to punt it. We're done. It's over. We're going to have to hope that we can tie the series at this point in this 4-game stint, right? Well. So what happens next? Freeman walks. Oh, no. Freeman, I think, got a single. I think he got a single. And then, yeah, he did. He got a single. And then Pages doubles, scores Freeman. No, wait. Yeah. Freeman ran from first. Sorry, guys. I'm all over the place. Then Kike doubles. Pages scores. And then now Muncy comes up. And, of course, last at bat was typical Muncy this year, right? He hits a single. Kike scores. Now it's tied. And then the next batter was Outman. Now, all I was asking Outman to do is not to get into a double play. Just if you're going to get an out, get an out. He strikes out like he does. And then now we have Kike, we have Ohtani with Kim, who was the pinch runner, and then Conforto got hit by the pitch before Outman. So right now, it's all the Dodgers need really is a single to take the lead, but a double, which he had already hit 2 doubles, Ohtani had, and they get a couple runs, a run, and I think we all knew Tanner Scott was going to finish tonight, that they were going to take the lead. So I was feeling pretty comfortable there. Instead, Shohei does what Shohei does, hits a 3-run jack. Dodgers go up 3 runs, and then Tanner Scott goes 1, 2, 3 in the bottom 9. Dodgers win 14-11. And I wasn't expecting a May 9th game to be as hyped as it was. Again, I had the Denver Oklahoma City game on dual screens on my TV, watching the Dodger game, talking to the boys on playback. I mean, this is a perfect sports night, guys. A lot of you guys are there with us. And I appreciate you guys being on the channel. Appreciate the dialogue. Aaron, it's nice to hear your voice for the first time. Looking forward to seeing you here in a month. Or what is it? Not even a month, like 2 weeks, 3.5 weeks. I'm planning on being there on Friday. I'm already going to be there on Friday. I'm going to try my best to get there on Saturday as well the next day. So, yeah, it was a great sports night, guys. I'll get to the Denver-Oklahoma City game. I didn't get a chance to see the entire game, but I did see all of overtime and the last couple minutes of the 4th. So, again, absolutely fun sports night. I don't know how people live lives not watching sports. I mean, it's for nights like this. It's really for nights like this. A regular season game in Arizona that means something, but it really doesn't, just because there's so many games. But man, how much fun did we have? I mean, this was as entertaining a baseball game as you can get in May. So thank the Dodgers, and God help me, thank the Arizona Diamondbacks for providing that tonight. And then watching the Denver Oklahoma City game, man, Denver. My prediction was Denver Boston finals, and it's looking like Denver. For a while, though, Denver looked like they weren't going to even get close. But looks like if they win one more game at home, it looks like Oklahoma City's in trouble, because I don't see Denver losing 3 straight if they win Game 4. And I'll get back to them in a minute. I'm going to get to some of your comments here real quick. Let's go ahead and go to the top. Chris, my guy, what's up, baby? Showtime indeed, baby. Showtime. I mean, really, Showtime is, I don't know if they've trademarked that yet, but somebody should. Showtime is as perfect a description for Shohei as you can have. And it just works, right? Doesn't it just work? Showtime started in LA with the Lakers, and it defined an era. Now you have Shohei Ohtani, who is Showtime in LA and is defining an era. I mean, come on, man. Where's Jeff's little horn? I got to get that thing, man, because that's what that should have been next after what I said. So props to again Friedman too. I'll get to him in a minute. Friedman and Casson and the entire Dodger organization, man. Getting Shohei Ohtani is going to come down one day as one of the greatest transactions a team could ever have in sports. It's going to go down there, especially if this team ends up winning 4 or 5 championships. And also, thank you, Angels, for not paying them the money. Gotani. I'll tell you what, Juan, if he pitches in June, he's going to pitch. If he pitches in June, or when he pitches in June, and if he wins, let's say he starts 4 games in June, 4 games in July, 4 games in August, 4 games in September. That's 16 games. If he wins 10 and loses, let's say 2, and has about a 2.5 ERA and gets a 50-50 for the year, I don't think there's a problem. And let's say they win it all, and maybe he throws in an NLCS MVP in there, because we know he's going to win the MVP if he does that. He gets an NLCS MVP, maybe a World Series MVP. At that point, I don't think there's going to be a Sam's chance in hell where he's not the greatest baseball player that's ever lived. And that's those are facts, by the way, guys. Actually, it's an opinion, really, if you want to get technical. But who's going to argue? Seriously, who's going to argue at that point? Even the staunchest, most anti-Dodger people, anti-whatever people, right? There's no way you can get beyond that. Back-to-back 50-50 seasons, which he's on pace to do right now. Wins 10 games as a pitcher. Pitches in the playoffs. If he pitches in the playoffs, imagine if he pitches in the playoffs. Let's say he pitches and wins the game, and then also hits a home run in that game. What about how do you even calculate that? Those are all things that are here, and these are all things that are coming. They're all coming. We're going to get a chance to see it. So I'm very excited for that. Let's go on a 20-game win streak. So that's an interesting comment there, Aaron. If the Dodgers went on a 20-game winning streak, that would mean they would be, let's see here, they would be 45-13. Let's work the numbers there for a second. 45-13. So their winning percentage would be .775. So that would mean, holy shit. That would mean they'd be on pace to win 126 games. I think it's 125, actually. That's just regular season games, by the way. That's funny. Crooked ninth inning, indeed. Crooked for a minute. When I first heard the word crooked inning, I didn't know what the hell that meant at first. And then finally I was like, oh, that's what it means. Money Mark, baby. Yes, indeed. Let's go Dodgers. Let's see here. Thameless. Good to see you there, buddy. Down 11-8, win 14-11 ninth inning. Yeah, it was It was every bit as exciting as it sounded. It really was. Again, Ohtani hitting that 3-run jack just kind of sucked the life out of Arizona, and you knew that they were toast in the bottom of the ninth. Let's see. Hit the like this chat. Great win at the end. Yes, Mark, absolutely. Pages been killing it, Joe. Yeah, Pages is, the beautiful thing about Pages is that you look at the Dodgers, let's say when they're healthy, what do you got on that team, right? Who's starting everywhere, right? So the initial starters on that team were Conforto, Pages, Teo, right? And then you had Edman at second. You had Mookie at short. You had Muncy at third. And then you have Will Smith at catcher, and then Freeman on the one. Now, how this will probably play out is when Edman and Teo get healthy again, what you're probably going to see is Pies go back to his natural position at left. Edman's going to go to center, and then Kim is going to start playing at second. And then Mookie at short, Muncy at third, and then Freeman at one, and Will at the catcher position. So that's likely going to be the finishing lineup, healthy, everyone healthy, everyone good, right? And then what'll happen is, depending on matchups, lefty righty, and I'm using just this strategy here, not injuries in the future. I'm sure there'll be injuries again, and they'll flip them around. But as far as the mainstays, you'll probably see switching between Muncy and Kike. Kike will play third. Muncy will be out if there's a strong lefty that they're going to be facing. But they've been hitting lefties pretty well this year, guys. And tonight was no different. Matter of fact, the righty got him back in the game a little bit. I think what was his name? Got shut him down for I think, what was it, 7 straight? As a Mena. I think he went 3, almost 4 innings. Got him back in the game, and then after that, it was almost 2 innings of with Beeks and Miller. Couldn't do anything with them, and then Ginkel went ahead and jacked everything up for them and allowed the Dodgers to come back and win the game. So again, baseball's fickle. Baseball's funny like that, man. It's the weirdest game, isn't it? Aaron, Andy's like Teoscar getting the time. Yeah. So Pages, going back to what I was trying to get to in terms of my point. Oh, let me see here. Hold on. We have an addition here. Oh, it's Mr. Grice. Welcome to the experiment. Are you having yogurt and cherries?
No, I went with the cheddar jalapeno.
Oh, you went and got the cheddar jalapeno.
It's a bomb. It's a bomb.
Dude, when you said cheddar jalapeno, it was like a signal. I was like, dude, because I like sriracha too. And I love it on eggs too, by the way. Good choice. But man, when you said jalapeno cheddar, I'm like, nah, you can't beat that one, man. That's number one. I was just explaining Pages. I know, I know you're a coxman of sports, Sean. And Pages is the, when you look at the Dodgers roster, it's been an interesting few years where a lot of their homegrown guys ended up coming up lame. Guys like Bellinger. I wouldn't say, I shouldn't probably put Kershaw in there because he's coming down to the end. But the guys that they've developed, like a lot of those guys have either left or they're on the downhill of their careers. And then you have Pages, right? Pages is this guy that last year played really well as a rookie and started the season horribly, and to the point where everyone wanted him on a spit. Well, he turned it around, and we all look like fools now for doubting him. And what's great about that is he is a homegrown player and a homegrown guy that just adds the extra oomph on this team if he continues to play where he's playing, because he has an amazing arm. Was playing out of position, unfortunately. I think that played a lot of issues with him not being kind of comfortable. But sticking to the corners on defense, whether it's right or left, especially left, and I think eventually he'll end up at left when it matters. And he's been playing very well. So again, props to Pages. He's the Cuban Missile Crisis has landed, and boy, are we happy about that one.
What round was he drafted in again?
I think it was the 7th. Let me check. Andy Pajes. Was it the 7th? Let's see. A lot of times these guys get drafted twice. When did he get drafted? It's not saying here. Okay, hold on. Hang tight, folks. I'm trying to figure this out here. Draft pick.
So as far as comeback wins, Joe, where would you?
Oh, he wasn't drafted.
Oh, he was.
He signed as an international player from Cuba.
Okay. Okay.
So LA seems to love picking up free agents, don't they? And making them stars. Eric, the bullpen was shaky. Yeah, Eric. So I wasn't comfortable. I got to get to Sean's Pizza because there's a story with that, guys. So I'm going to say this, and then we'll get to Sean's Pizza on this one, and the cheddar jalapeno. But a couple things happened when Roki didn't get that strike 3. Number one, I think Roberts thought maybe that was going to take Roki out mentally. So I sort of, now that I've kind of had a chance to marinate on it, I think I maybe understood it. But what I didn't understand is why he brought in Banda. Banda has been struggling. He's been struggling. He hasn't been struggling with allowing a home run or a hit here and there or closing an inning with runners in scoring position. He's just been allowing runs. I know you're up by 4, and maybe you want to get him out of that funk, but I don't think that was the right time. I think Dreyer would have been good or Sawyer would have been good at that moment just to kind of ease the transition instead of having to deal with Banda with a guy on first. I don't like pitchers coming in with guys and running in on base. I don't ever like that unless there's 2 outs. If there's no outs, I never like that, especially when there's no outs. So I think Roberts kind of made a mistake there, and of course he ended up paying for it because Banda ended up dishing out the grand slam that tied the game. Then I thought Garcia coming in was a mistake. And this is where Roberts evened that out because Garcia pitched extremely well tonight. He got gypped on a clear strike 3, which would not have allowed a walk that ended up getting a run in. And then the game's probably in a different kind of area. But everything led to what ended up happening in the top of the 9th, which was the Dodgers said, you know what? Fuck you. We're not losing this game. And they didn't. It was like one after another, after another, after another. And then they served up that golf ball, that floating golf ball right there in front of Ohtani. And Ohtani absolutely killed it. In the second you saw him connect, you knew that sucker was gone. And I got to hand it to Shohei. I didn't watch him much in Anaheim. I saw him enough, but I didn't watch him enough to watch him really, really put a button on home runs like that. He's been really good at showing emotion at the right moments. There's 2 guys that I love on this team when they show emotion. Ohtani is one, and damn Mookie Betts. Mookie Betts, when that guy gets excited, the whole world gets excited. It's crazy how infectious their celebration is. Just adds to the excitement on whatever play is going on. So props to the Dodgers. Good job getting through the mistakes. Hopefully Banda can kind of clean himself up. Was glad to see Garcia do his thing. And then, of course, seeing Tanner Scott mow the last 3 batters down 1, 2, 3 makes my stomach all warm and fuzzy. So thank you again for that, Tanner Scott. It's been a while since he's pitched. Let's see here. What is Sports Baby? Roberta takes them off too quick. Leave them. Easy there, Juan. Easy, man. Sometimes you don't make the right calls, even if it's, the right call, the wrong call. What's up, Craig? How you doing, buddy? Great to have you on the show. Great to have you on playback, as always, my friend. Good pitch up in the zone. Aaron, hey, man. Again, I want to thank you for being on the show, hearing your voice for the first time. I can't wait to see your face in 2.5 weeks. Let's see here. Mark, that was crazy. A couple of home runs by them. Yes, it was, Mark. Eric, outfield is shaky. Yeah, I mean, you could say that, but two of the guys that are playing right now are not. They're not the regulars. You're gonna need. You need Edman out there, even though Outman's actually a better center fielder than him. But you need the full arsenal here, guys. You need Paz at left. You need Edman at center. You need Teo at right, and then you'll have Kim at second, and then that's going to be your death lineup when at the end of the year. Yep, 31st against the Yanks. So we have 31st, which is a Saturday, and then June 1 on Sunday. I don't think I'm going to make the Sunday one for sure, unless something changes. But I am going to be there Friday on the 30th, and I'm going to have to figure out a way to get there stay there on Saturday. I have a buddy of mine that doesn't live too far away from there. I might be able to stay with him to hang out. I have a friend of mine who's coming from Maine.
If you want some, Joe, there's no maybes about it. So,
well,
if I was one of your friends and you like, yeah, there's no maybes. I'm
pretty confident.
I'm staying.
Pretty confident. Yeah. I'm pretty confident I'll probably stay. You just never know what pops up in my business. Like for tomorrow, for example, tomorrow I got to get up at 5 and deliver stuff, and it's a quick 4-digit, return. Just waking up early on a Saturday and then being done by 9 a.m.
Oh yeah,
before the kids wake up.
I've been waking up at 4 o'clock for about 4 months now. So my salute to you. There still is at 4 and 5 o'clock in the morning.
So what time are you hitting the hay?
Depends. Normally maybe a 16-hour shift. So we're looking at coming home around 8 o'clock. I chill with you guys till around maybe 11, 12. So I go to bed around 1. So
you can function with 3 hours sleep?
Yes, but not.
But you make up for it, right?
For one day, yes.
Good. As long as you catch up to it, that's usually what I do.
My potential maxes out at 5 hours. I can give you my best with 5.
I'm trying to think the only way I'm going to be able to set a regular schedule sleep-wise, where it's what is it called? The
circadian
circadian window, which is 10 o'clock to 6, 9 to 5.
Yeah.
9 is too early. Like, I got to be dead dog tired to sleep at 9. 10, though. 10 is something I think I probably could do, but probably 10:30 would be better because the Lakers and all that. But we got the shows, man. The shows don't really allow us to do that. So I'd have to do it during the summer. Like, watch the Dodger games and then pass out, right? But I don't know. It would take a certain job for me to do that. I think I'd have to be in the movie gig to where I have to get up early and I know I don't have anything else to deal with. And then I could probably, because you'd have to, because if those shoots are 14, 15, 16 hours, you got to be rested. But I do make up whenever I have those 3-hour nights, dude. I get home and if I lay on the couch at like 1 p.m., I'm out for like an hour and a half. I'll catch up.
What's the earliest you ever had a roll call for?
The earliest, so when I was in the transportation business, I was the evening guy because I don't like the mornings, right? And the old timers had the morning schedules. However, one day I called up my manager. I said, "Hey, man, I got to do something in the evening, but I don't want to lose a day of work. Is there any way you can switch me with someone for the morning?" He goes, "Yeah, no problem." The first flights would come in at 4:30. Well, I had to leave at 4:30, so the first flights would come in at 6. San Diego Airport, they don't fly between midnight and 6. They start at 6 and then they end at midnight because flight paths will make noise with the surrounding homes and condos and townhomes, right? So he goes, "Yeah, I got no problem. I got a 4:30 that you can run until 11 o'clock that morning." I'm like, "Okay, I'll work it out." At that time, I was living about an hour away from work because a few years later, I lived like 5 minutes away from work, right? But at that point, I was at an hour. So that means I had to get up. I had to get up at like 3. Dude, my eyes were like this. I'd never gotten up. That was the first time I'd ever gotten up at 3 on purpose. So my eyes were like, what the why won't my eyes wake up? So I'm like, man, and I don't like showering in the morning. I shower at night.
Me too.
I shower at night, which is worse in those cases because I'm so comfortable and I'm so clean. I'm like, I don't want to get up. And I'm like, God damn, man, I'm never doing this again. So I muster enough energy to get up, get dressed, drive an hour to work, do that schedule. And then after that, I was like, I told the boss, I was like, hey, man, I'm never doing that again. Like, again, how the hell do these guys get up at 3? And then I found out I was talking to Pete. He was one of the funniest old timers you ever meet in your life. I go, Pete, how the hell do you get up at fucking whatever the fuck you get up in the morning? He goes, like, I pass out at 6:30 every day. I'm like, what? So I find out every day after he leaves. He was retired, so this was kind of just like a gig where he just makes a couple bucks and that's it, right? So he goes, yeah, I'm retired. And I remember he would, every time I'd call him on the radio when I would do the desk jobs, I'd be like, hey, Pete, you got schedule 4:30. I was like, bad bar over the radio. We had those Nextel radios. And I go, Pete, so what do you do? Like, he goes, well, I have a couple margaritas and I have a couple of these and I have a couple of that. Then I'm out right around 6:30, 7 o'clock. I'm like, what the fuck? How do you sleep at 6:30 and 7 during the summer? It's like hot outside still. So he drinks himself to sleep every day. And I guess that's what worked for him. But that was my one and only time I did the 3 on purpose. Never again. Never again. Aaron, so I talked to Jeff. Jeff goes out at, I think, Friday nights. He usually goes out Friday nights. So I don't know if he's gonna be coming back home soon. I did send him a link, so if he happens to be here when we're still on, I'm sure he'll maybe chime in, but we'll see. I'll let you all know.
If he's got date night with the wife, that's
He does.
Yeah.
That's an important thing for him. Let's see
Mhm.
here. And we still have Kershaw dominating in the minors coming soon. Nothing would make me happier, honestly. And I've been hard on Kershaw. I've been hard on him, and it's a tough one, but I'm a tough love type of guy, and I come off maybe even ungrateful, but it is what it is, right? But if I had one request besides winning a championship and all the fixings, right? I would love for Kershaw to just kick ass this year and be the 4th pitcher in the playoffs. That would be like the perfect ending. I don't think it's going to happen, but that would be one hell of a way for him to go out, especially if he could pitch at least once in each series, or at least once in the NLCS, once in the World Series, and be a contributor that way and win a World Series with him pitching in the rotation. I think that'd be a hell of a way to go out and celebrate his 3rd championship in his first ballot Hall of Fame career. So just saying that in May. I'm hoping for it. I hope he does.
Who do you think who is the better Georgia Bulldog? Matt Stafford or Clayton Kershaw? Those Bulldogs teams got close, man. They got close with Alabama, but they can never.
Kershaw has the more iconic career.
They're the 2 best athletes to ever come out of that university.
It's going to be hard to go against Herschel Walker. Though.
Yeah, I know.
But you do have a point. As Stafford, you could say, had a better career in the NFL, which is crazy because Herschel actually had a pretty damn good career too. But Stafford, when you factor in circumstance, if Stafford had gone to New England, let's say, or if he had gone to the Steelers, he would not have had the career he had in Detroit the way he had it. He would have won earlier. He would have won more. But because he was in Detroit, he had numbers, but we all know the Fords and how they run things over there, right? And so, welcome, G. Glad to have you here. So, I don't dock him on what didn't happen in Detroit because of the way that setup is. As a matter of fact, I actually commend him for having the career and staying alive as long as he did to get to LA, win a Super Bowl, and put a button on a Hall of Fame career. Because before he got to LA, I'm not going to say he didn't have a chance, but he's definitely going to go to the Hall of Fame now.
You're the Georgia Bulldogs. You've got 1 yard to go, Joe. You're on the 1 yard line against Alabama. Couldn't get it across the goal line. If the Georgia Bulldogs win that game, Stafford is the greatest Bulldog ever. Ever. You beat the man in his own house.
It's funny how that went full circle for me as a fan in the Rose Bowl a year and a half ago. And we didn't know that day that was the last game. I didn't go to that game thinking this is the last game of my favorite coach of all time. Not even a hint, because family trumped everything that night. It really did. I only felt bad when everything calmed down. It didn't settle down for me, really, actually, until a week later when I knew Washington wasn't going to have a chance. But I knew it before the game. But as soon as the first quarter ended, I'm like, God damn it. Saban would have won this game. And then the next week he retired. And I'm like, fuck, dude. But again, family came first. It was an experience and it's recorded and it's documented, and some funny shit happened while it was live. My God, what a day that was. What a day that was. That was the second best college game I've watched in my life, which is it was very hard to pick a number two, because I'm going to be biased. I was there in Michigan and Alabama and all that, but to me it was the second best game I ever watched. I don't think anything will ever beat USC Texas in 05.
Well,
Yes.
to add something on to that particular point in time is probably the worst of my life, and you took time out of your day to talk to me about what was going on too. So when you talk about family, I appreciate that, because I include myself in that with you.
I thought the worst moment of your life, you said, was when you met Joe.
Well, we haven't met yet. We haven't met yet. Yeah, it's like
I'm terribly sorry.
Thanks for ruining a nice moment there, Gerald.
Of course.
Appreciate it.
Just following in your shadow, because you do it on our show.
No, that was literally something out of the Royal Tenenbaums, Gerald. I was impressed.
And that's funny, because that movie has some of the craziest real footage of how crazy the director and the actors got into it. That movie is nuts. The director yelling at people, and you're just watching Mark.
I just
Wahlberg,
love Gene Hackman in that whole film.
Yeah, Gene Hackman, I believe, was doing movies like The Replacements, that movie, the Heartbreaker movie with Sigourney Weaver and Jennifer Love Hewitt. He was doing those because of the divorce. He was making movies because he needed the money. Because I grew up a huge Gene Hackman guy, right? And when I saw him doing those fluff movies, I was like, what is Gene Hackman doing? At the time, I didn't know why. It didn't make sense to me. A little bit of De Niro starting to do a lot of these comedies, and I remember my dad, God rest his soul, he's like, man, what is De Niro doing? And then we watched Meet the Parents, and we were dying laughing, like, oh my God. When he pulled that cat thing versus a dog comment, I was like, damn, I never looked at it that way. That's so good. Oh, so you need that assurance, don't you? You see, Craig, when you yell at a dog, he'll run to the corner and, put his tail between his genitals. A dog is very easy to break. Cats, you have to work for their affection. They don't sell out like dogs do. Totally shattered every dog lover on the planet in like 30 seconds. Anyways, going back to what were we talking about before we start talking about Saban and the Rose Bowl and all the college football stuff? I totally went left. Let's see here. I'm going to go back to some of the comments here. Potter's arm is saving runs. Yeah, Craig, that is very true. And that happened again today when Arizona popped it up in it was right before they scored that ninth run. Pius was short. He was a short right, and it's like as soon as I saw him come up, I was like, oh, good. He'll catch this, and then I got to test him because he would have knocked him out. Hey, Joe, can Colorado change divisions? They suck, making NL West look bad. Well, look, hey, JY, look. Remember in school when they had the grades on a curve? So Colorado allows the West to be a little bit humble because they have four teams that could end up playing at the end, like end of the year, like really, really playing. And I don't know what's going on in Colorado, man. I really don't know. I don't know what's going on in Colorado. I don't know what's going on in Pittsburgh. I don't know what's going on in Chicago. And this is something to discuss a little bit more in depth, even though I wasn't planning on doing this. You're talking about 3 different markets who all suck major ass. So when they say, oh, well, this team doesn't have enough money, and this team is not this, and this team is not that, and it's not fair, and stuff. Chicago is, I think, what is it, Sean? Is it the 4th largest market or the 3rd?
It's the third. It's a third.
Third largest market. Denver is like maybe in the mid-teens.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have Pittsburgh, who's probably in the early 20s.
Mm-hmm.
So you have 3 different markets, high, middle, and low, that both are monstrosities. What do you do? I don't know what you do. Other than the fans, and I know, I don't know how the TV contracts are not like the NFL, but fans maybe even in Tampa and Florida, didn't they not go to those games? I think there was a game last year where it was only like 4,000 people in Florida or Miami.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter. They're still viable, still working. So anyways, I don't know. I don't know what's going on. I don't know. Colorado, can you put up a fight? I mean, they sort of came back and scored 9 runs today, though. But can you hang on a little bit long? Can you win one and let it help us out here, Colorado? Get a game against San Diego, please. Back to the subject I wanted to get to. So, Aaron, mentioning you eating pizza. So, Sean, we were talking about your favorite dish. Your favorite pizza is Mediterranean pizza, right? So you got that feta, you got the bell pepper, right? Too.
Mm-hmm.
What else? What else is on there? What the mozzarella cheese too? What else is on there? Olives,
red olives, red flake peppers.
Okay.
I put banana peppers on there.
You know how much Joe and I love olives.
Yeah, I love olives. I could eat olives every day. And
These aren't black olives, though. They're the red olives.
I had the sangria olives that my cousin was serving this one day when he was living in Vegas. He was in Henderson at the time.
I like the olives with the pits. That's what I love. Those are the kind of
I
olives
actually didn't mind them. They actually were the small ones that they put in martinis. Remember, you remember that scene? Ralphie being a dick to Adriana. Those olives. Those are the ones I was eating. I was like, man, these are actually pretty good. But it's the black ones that kill me. Black ones take me out. I can't eat the black ones. Or
well, you know what's amazing in almost not all of them, but in almost all of James Bond movies, he asks for his martini to be shaken, not stirred. But you can't shake a martini. So I never understood that. Never understood that.
it could have been just a kind of a wise ass type thing. That's probably what it was. And we also talked about cheddar jalapeno. So you had a mix of your Mediterranean pizza and the cheddar jalapeno.
Hit.
So what did you drink with those things?
Orange juice.
Oh, see, you salted it up and then you sweetened it up. That is why I haven't drank soda in a while, but whenever I have something that's salty, a lot of sodium in it, like pizza, wings, a sandwich that's on
Sub Pope. Sub Pope.
I'll make you a list. Hammer for coming on the playback tonight, Sean. Hammer for coming on back. What's hammer for coming on? I heard that word earlier today. Hammer back. Anyways, Gerald, how you doing?
I'm all right. Just doing the once every other day catch up on the comments after we run our shows. And
so, what were the comments? What were the comments?
As usual, there are a lot of them about you.
Really?
Surprising.
What a surprise!
What did they say? Did they call me something?
Well, this is not as vicious as the ones last week when the Lakers got eliminated. This is based off the Giannis show that we did. Actually, the past couple shows that we did this week. Let me see. What the hell is Joe talking about? LeBron deserved that 2014 NBA MVP over KD.
Oh, that one, yeah.
No, he didn't.
I commented on that one.
Okay, so you did on that one. What else? Joe, I know you are saying LeBron refuses to let go being the guy and wants the last shot. I love how he did that all in caps. It was DivX, by the way. Just ridiculous. The center for Luka cannot be slow-footed. Wake up. You need athletic shot blocking. High jumping center for Luka. If you get slow-footed centers, they'll be watching on the bench all the time. Luka's on the court. We need to draft. Okay, Ihima. Probably was after he probably did a line of cocaine. He said, we need to draft Bryce James for our depth. Always, but he did say, it was always great to see us, Magic Man and Joe.
You know what might help your logic? A total frontal lobotomy.
We did have someone that agrees with Joe. This is a rarity, Joe. When we did the Rob Pelinka show last week, Tay Wilder says, I agree with Ox. We will drown with another LeBron 1+1. Nobody can explain it away. Nobody. And he went on that. And he said, I'm guessing the cereal Magic Man was eating was Lucky Charms.
It was not. Honey Nut Cheerios.
Well, I'll mention that.
Well, there's merit. There's merit in the disagreement with me thinking LeBron was the MVP in 14 because the stats do favor Durant. Durant did take his team.
Yeah, he said higher win share, higher across the board on most.
But for me, I look at the MVP as the best player in the league that year. And LeBron, in my view, Durant has never been a better basketball player than LeBron James. And I know the MVP is not that award. I get it. But for me, I prefer to give the MVP to the best player in the league. That's just always how I've looked at it because it eliminates the mumbo jumbo. It eliminates it. And what I don't understand is you've had guys like Wayne Gretzky, who's won 9 MVPs. You've had guys like Barry Bonds, who's won 7 MVPs, should have won 9. Peyton Manning's won 7 MVPs as well.
Shared one with Stephen.
Shared one with Steve in 03. So I don't understand in an individual sport, as individual as it can be in a team sport, I don't understand why voter fatigue becomes a problem at this league. I don't understand. Give it to the best player. I understand someone has better stats, but Durant has never been better than LeBron in my view. Steph Curry has never been a better basketball player than LeBron. It's just what it is. LeBron is the best basketball player of his era. And there's nothing you can say against that. There's just nothing. Do we want him to win 7 MVPs in a row? It doesn't matter what we want. It's what is. So that's the part I don't get, and it would eliminate a lot of the oh wait, this is wrong, this is right. It really would. It would eliminate all that, but they don't want to do that. They want to vote according to feelings, I guess. Let's see here. Where are we? Sean got me wanting pizza back. Well, see, here's the thing that Sean does that's good. And I said this a while back. Sean eats in a way where you get hungry watching him eat. You could have had a 5-course meal, but for some reason, the way Sean eats food makes you want to eat.
I appreciate that. I eat every meal like it's going to be my last.
Well, it looks like it.
I really do.
Execute it.
I really do, though.
Now, this also goes up. There's a comment there about what we talked about the other day about what I think I threw it to you, Sean, about Zion. If you're going to talk to New Orleans, because you said talk to New Orleans about who was it? Herb Jones. Right. I said, well, if you're there while you're on the phone, you might as well just say, hey, okay, while I'm here, what would it take to get Zion? And I'm just pricing this out now on the NBA trade machine because the comment was like he put his options in there. First of all, the Lakers don't have 2 firsts. Second of all, if you're going to throw Connect in there, it kind of takes everything out of whack, even though it's like $3 or $4 million, it takes out of whack. So I had to, in order to get the money to get close and get worked, I had to do like a 3 for $5 deal. Like Zion, Eves Missy, and then I put Nick T's favorite character in there, Kelly Olynyk, for Rui, Austin, Gabe, Maxi Kleber, and Dalton. That would give 4 expiring contracts. I don't know why they have Austin Reeves as a 3 years left on it. I thought it was 2. I thought he's a free agent in 26.
I thought it was 2. It should that's got to be
2.
It's only 2.
Yeah, I'll check just to make sure because we've been saying it all this time. But I'm seeing it on the ESPN.
Well, he has 2. He has 2 left.
Is it the player option that they're saying?
Yeah, he has a player option after 2026.
Oh, that's why he could be offered an extension this summer, and Rui can't probably. Yeah, you're right. It is a player option. Yeah, which he'll totally refuse. So he'll be a free agent in 2026. Yeah, thank you, Joe. Appreciate that.
Yeah,
but yeah,
this is the Dodger Snap Pack, by the way.
I was throwing that out there, because he was talking about a trade and with Zion. If you were to make it work, I mean that's 4 expiring contracts going New Orleans way, and Dalton for Zion, essentially, and Eves Missy. So you get a nice young big out of it.
I don't think Austin's gonna warrant a $30 million a year contract. You don't think that's going to happen? No, somebody's going to give him $30 million.
If he has another year like this year, statistically during the regular season, Joe, he'll get it. And remember, if he refuses the extension offer that they'll give him, that the Lakers will offer, and he'll refuse, he is, I think, Sean, based on his salary and the 140%, whatever. I was reading an article that said 42.5 million, I think, is the highest he can be given on in the 2026 free agency, if I'm not mistaken. So $42.5 million a year is the highest year. Now he won't be offered that, but I could easily see 30 being offered for him.
Definitely.
Yeah. Joe, I do think is he worth it? Again, but it's in the beauty of the beholder.
Yeah, exactly.
Me for no. I think again, offer him the extension, let him turn down the extension, so you save face, then immediately go on the phone and pitch him and Rui, and see what you get.
And you trade him this summer?
I would trade him this. While your value's high, don't do California Angels.
Is his value high?
It'll never be higher. You'll never. With him and Rui, you could get multiple players back, or like you saw, like I just put out there, you can get with 4 expiring contracts in 2026. You can get a Zion. You could do something with a Zion on that.
So between Rui and Austin, they're at $32 million.
No, they're 20.
Then you have another 22 and a half with Kleber and Vincent as expiring contracts as well.
Here, let me bring it up. Can I share my screen?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, let me go ahead and I'll share it. This is what I did.
I would be shocked. I would be shocked if the Pelicans won the draft lottery.
It's up there now, Joe.
Now, if they did,
let me go ahead and see if I can zoom it in. Is that better?
Yeah, very nice.
Okay. That's what you could do, and it gives the Lakers $3 million back, roughly. It's from 55 to 52, so the Lakers would be a little bit more in the money for that.
So why would New Orleans do this?
4 expirings in 26.
Because they're
all that on the right side except for
do we have
Connect.
to throw in Connect?
Yes.
Well,
can we just wait?
Well, Twilitson put in their Connect, so I was trying to get his because he had players in there that I don't know what he had, what he was thinking. He just wasn't thinking clearly. But if you're New Orleans and you're the New Orleans GM and he threw in Connect, I said, okay, you want to add Connect in this? I'm going to make an offer for you, but that way I don't have to do as many swaps. Because remember, the Lakers have 5 swaps and only 1 first-round pick. So if you do this, Joe, you don't have to offer as many swaps.
I need to see Connect another year. I don't want to lose that 3-point shot.
But he's so bad on defense. I love Connect. But he is so bad.
He can learn. He was a rookie. He can learn. You can't lose that shot. He can't be just a throw in it. This has got to be. He's the only time I trade him is if it's going to something big. Well, something that makes.
Is Zion not big enough for you?
No, because he's a risk.
Pun intended.
He's a risk. If he's not, if he's still distracted by temptation, which. What area on the planet is more temptation than LA?
Vegas,
New York,
but yeah, it's up there.
It is up there. But I'm telling you, I mean, again,
Bangkok after 10 o'clock.
I'm just answering. I was answering his question by piecing this out.
So was I. But yeah, I mean, it's tempting. There's temptation around the corner.
And they're going to ask for Connect or more swaps. It's just that simple. Either put Connect in there or you put more swaps.
Well, here's why New Orleans would do it. Because they need to tear everything down to the studs and start over again.
They need to get out of the Zion business.
That was a marriage not made in basketball heaven.
So Zion, LeBron, and Luka for 1 year.
Plus, you've got Ease Missy at a 7-footer, so you do have your lob threat there. Kelly Olynyk, Nick T is happy, so we don't have to hear him bag on Luka the whole season.
And shout out to Dante. I saw him in the chat. I haven't seen him in a while.
What's up, Dante? But yeah, I mean, you're taking a big gamble on Zion. But he, I was answering a commenter's question, and he added Connect in there. And I know you want to see another year of Connect, so would I. But if it saves you 2 or 3 pick swaps, and you only have to give up 1 first and a pick swap.
LA has some of the finest restaurants in the world. They also have some of the finest nutritionists.
Yes.
You'd think there'd be a healthy balance there. No pun intended.
I mean, he brings a different dynamic, Joe. I'll just leave it at that.
Well, I think it's sort of worth the risk. But you still need a guard, though.
Plus, he's 25, Joe. So I know his body is going to start quitting out after around 30 for him. I know I know that most of our audience thinks that the same thing's going to happen for Luka. But yes,
he played 30 games this year.
I know, 45% overall.
But he played 70 in 2024.
Yeah, I'm just answering the guy's question. But if you're going to do that, that's what I'm going to offer. I'm going to give them 4 expirings. Connect. Maybe that'll save me the first. Maybe I won't have to give up my first and 2 or 3 swaps. Because then you can also use that first in another trade. Because that's $50 million coming off your books if you're New Orleans in 26.
All right, I guess it would be worth the risk.
And remember, DeJounte Murray is, I don't know what is the status of DeJounte Murray? When did he get hurt, Magic?
I'll look that up right now, Gerald.
Because that's a serious injury for him. It was an ACL or was it?
No, successful. Yeah, it's Achilles.
It's Achilles. Well, it's Achilles.
It's
So
Achilles.
he's gone. He's gone for a while. So
Yeah.
their season is also hurt. Sports Baby, I don't think we're going to get that Knicks trade. Right now, with the way they're playing, there's no way they're going to give up Bridges and Robinson. They would be stupid to do so.
No, you're not going to see DeJounte Murray, Kyrie Irving, or Damian Lillard next year.
Yeah.
So
there you go, JY.
JY
said it well.
There's word going around that Detroit's going to go after Zion, and it's going to be easier with Joe Dumars running the show. He's going to kind of serve as the Kevin McHale to his old team.
Man.
But Trey Murphy is the one that's supposed to be an untouchable. If any of the players in New Orleans is untouchable, it's not Zion. It's Trey Murphy.
And if I'm giving up, Dalton Connect, Gerald, and a first, I'm asking for Trey Murphy the third.
Oh, they won't give it to you. I would take off the first and do that. And if they see that right there, plus maybe a pick swap or 2, like way down the line. Your latest pick swaps that you can do.
So JY says Lakers can't depend on LeBron being the most athletic big anymore. Need to get more explosive at that position. I'd say if
more explosive when he's healthy.
It's just
It's such a risk. It is.
Would he finally go to that next level? And is his mind on the game, or is it on women and eating?
Porn stars, if I remember correctly.
Mm-hmm.
Again, it's a big risk. It's a big risk, but if you can keep your first to do something else to shore up your weaknesses.
Hey, porn star Jimmy was taking the Niners to conference championship games at Super Bowls, Joe. So
don't sleep on Missy. Don't sleep on Missy.
Didn't he just go to dinner with that one? Or
I think that was years ago, Joe.
I remember there was a camera on him at the restaurant.
I don't know. I'm not following. I just read the story. I'm not following any of their movements.
I remember that. I remember seeing the video of him.
Where's Kurt to tell us all off and give us a nice, funny joke in this situation?
What do you guys think about tonight's game, Denver versus Oklahoma City? What did Oklahoma City?
Before we get there, so would you say yes or no? I would say yes if we can keep the first and just do a couple pick swaps.
Take Connect out of there, and then I can still see that deal. I can still see that deal. I can still see that deal being made without connecting there. You want shooters around Luka. You want young shooters.
Give up the first.
Well, what are you going to use the
first
on?
Or connect? I would use that first on another trade.
Isn't it 2031?
I think it's 29 or 31. I'd have to check.
I think it's 31. I'm not worried about draft picks in 31. I'm worried about shooters.
If
you can get a shooter that's making $3 million a year that could shoot like him, he tightens up his defense. That's what you want.
Okay. Well, then
you're already risking all this. You might as well risk with him too, because he can actually shoot.
So you're talking 4 expirings and a first. You would take that.
Maybe you can throw something else in there that's not a first, but they'll want a first. It's Stainless. It's not about that. It's going to be a risk.
Oh, it's a huge risk.
That's worth probably going after, unless they have intel where they know they can get another guy to play with Luka, somebody like Giannis or something.
I was just answering again, Painless. This is based off a question that was made after the show we did last, so I just thought I would pose it to you guys here. But you could take that off now, Joe. But I'd do a trade. But would you do it, Sean?
Yeah, I would, Gerald. Yeah, I would.
You're on mute, Joe. You're on mute, Joe.
Joe, you're on mute.
Sorry.
Yourself,
if you can get Zion playing 70 games and not crapping out in the play-in, then it'll work. But there's got to be a preemptive focus. He's got to drop. He's got to be at a certain weight.
I agree with you. It's a big chance, but
you're going to have to take his word for it.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. That's where I stand on that. But I want to talk about tonight's game before we head out.
So I'll just say, sorry, Joe. Go ahead.
Okay. No, go ahead. Finish what you were saying.
Yeah, no. I was just going to say, super duper uber athletic forwards and guards like the gentleman we're speaking of, they do have a shelf life, Joe. They do have a shelf life. So the shelf life is around 8 or 9 years. David Thompson had around 6. Skywalker. Dominique had around 7. Sean Kemp had 8. Now, in Sean's case, when the lockout happened and he came back 30 pounds heavier in Cleveland, that was the big dead giveaway. And that's the thing with these really athletic guys, Gerald, is that the girth and the width could be a problem. That Phoenix took a risk when they acquired Charles Barkley. Charles had a weight problem. Now, he had it under control at that point, but you were still taking a risk.
Charles Barkley's weight problems never seem to affect his game, though.
No. Is it affecting Luka's in the same way?
If you factor in his calf issues, you could say maybe. But let's look at Charles's career. Charles came into the league in 85. He was drafted in 84, 85. And he played 82 games, 80, 68, 80, 79, 79, 67, 75, 76. Well, 76 was the first year he was in Phoenix.
His MVP year.
His MVP year. So if you look at his career, his first 10 years in the NBA, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Not his first 9 years in the NBA. So all his time in Philly, and then his MVP year in '93, he essentially played the entire season. He never was an injury-prone type. I think his lowest season was 67 in that period. And then 65, 68, 71, 53, 68, 42, 20 the last few years. His last All-Star season was in 1997, where he played 53 games. That was his at that time it was his lowest. So he played 13 seasons, which was a good number to kind of see the downscale of career, right?
Mm-hmm.
He was second in the MVP vote in 1990 to Magic. I think that might have been his best season too.
He got more first place votes than Magic.
Yeah, that might have been his best season. He played 79 games.
They got dusted in the playoffs, though. That was the whole issue with the narrative there, Joe. Magic was a winner. Charles wasn't.
But I don't know. I never felt like. I think Charles had a unique. He had unique genetics, man. He had the ability to just withstand.
But like I said, like those super athletic guys, sometimes there are only two guys in that vein who've really, in the modern era, that have really changed their game. And it was Larry Johnson and Vince Carter. Those are the only two guys who really embraced kind of being a sixth man or a jump shooter. Because Grandmama's game was strictly athleticism his first 5 or 6 years. But it's good. It's so Joe. We've talked about this a lot. It's kind of like Troy Polamalu and Ed Reed. There's a lifespan to playing that way all the time. Same thing with these athletic bigs we see in the NBA. It's just there is just a shelf life there.
And when you look at Shaquille's career, I don't think this gets brought up enough. A man that big who actually dominated really for 15 years. 14 if you want to play it safe. 14 straight seasons he dominated. Would you agree?
Yes.
So let's look at Shaq's years, right? Shaq made the All-Star game when he was in that last year in Phoenix. Right. He did play 75 games. He was 17, almost 18 games at 18 points a game.
I think he shot almost 50% that year too.
He was 60. He was at 60.
Oh wow!
And he led the NBA in that too. By the way,
yeah.
He only did it in 30 minutes too. He did all that in 30 minutes. So he between 93 and his last All-Star game before that one,
Wait a second. Can I just say this real quick? Why am I the dog father, Intel Wild? I'm just translating a comment that another commenter was saying about Zion. So it's obvious, it's clear he's not a fan of Zion. So I'll just leave it at that. So, but don't kill the messenger, Intel. Understand the game, please.
Yeah, but what if Intel has Intel?
I'm not a huge Zion fan myself either. Given the parameters we're working under with the CBA and the circumstances we're dealing with, gotta take what you can get. Remember, Intel. Remember, you can't always get what you want, but sometimes
If
you
you're
get
not a
what
fan
you
of Zion,
need.
that's no problem. I get it because all the stats
I don't
back up
think
what
Intel's a fan of you.
Well, that's okay. I'm not a fan of you either.
I didn't
Joe,
see
believe
anything
me.
about Zion.
I'm not a fan
all
of
I
you
saw
either.
was all I saw was vitriol towards you.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah,
It's contributed quite a bit to the channel.
Hot
which is greatly
father.
appreciated.
Huh. More like the dog father. Huh. Huh.
That's compared to the insults that you get. I'll take it. I'll
Yeah.
take it. Yeah.
It's impossible to insult me.
What's the worst you've ever
I say
been?
it's quite possible.
What's
I
the
see it every
worst?
week.
What's the worst you've ever been called? Why do we
Me?
go around the? Yeah, Gerald worked at retail. I'm sure he's got a few.
Oh man, I've been insulted.
Well-
My mom's been insulted.
Oh my god!
My
Oh my god!
The birth of myself has been insulted.
Oh my
My
god!
family's been insulted. Yeah, just every name you want to be called. I've
Oh
been
my
called.
god!
Yeah, the German tourist that was spitting in my face while because he was spraying so many half-hearted. Because he, again, like a lot of people from out of this country, the words that they've actually perfected are the obscenities and not much else. So yes, the obscenities came through quite well as he was spraying his spit in my face. Yes, I remember that one quite.
So he
distinctly.
spit on your face because he was
No, he's not
yelling at
spitting,
you.
but he's spraying spittle.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
Yeah, that way.
Did it
Yes.
land on your lip?
No, just
Gerald, was his name Hans Gruber?
no. That you know what? I would have said, I
Like
got
his
you
name
on
Bogdan?
the
That's
field.
that's what I would have said. Look,
Yes.
Hans Gruber.
Yes.
So he was mad that you weren't giving him a free rental car?
No. It was something like I think he didn't get the size car he was accustomed to,
Tragic.
and often you're renting 2,000 cars a day, and you only have 2,200 cars total. You're usually out of cars at the time they come in, so or their selection is not exactly robust.
How many times did you say sorry to him?
I'm sure at least a dozen times. So, but before what happens is I just kick them off the lot. I say, "Sir, in the state of Nevada, I have the right to refuse service, and we're refusing the right to service you. Bye bye.
Sir,
Have a great day."
you're scaring me.
No,
With
I
your,
just
with your,
I
with your
just stand. Remember,
chairman.
remember, I'm almost as tall as you are, so I just stand over them and I say, "I can't help you."
You're like,
Bye-bye.
hello, Clarice.
Du
It's good to see you again.
hast. Du
Du
hast mich.
I told you the other day I was threatened.
I'm
by-
watching.
well,
I'm
actually,
watching
wasn't
Mark
this show
crack
first.
on SB right now on the chat.
Oh,
Blah
yeah.
blah blah. Var.
They're pretty harmless. What they usually do.
Love is in the air and boobies. I don't see no boobies. Where are the boobies?
I think Thameless. That was that Empire guy. That's was like under one of his many monikers. It's like we have like more than one person that just goes like different profiles to say different things. It's just so weird.
This
It's
bored,
like
I guess, with their life.
Okay, you have like 15 different profiles.
No,
That's a lot of work.
It is. It's like it's like a digital Sybil kind of thing going on there.
Why? I don't get it.
So,
it's like, okay.
So what did you guys think about tonight's game? Denver. I know there was another game. Cleveland.
OKC has and no one to blame but themselves. They missed a lot of bunnies. Sean and I go through all the time when we watch those games where the Lakers, like Vando or back when Westbrook was here, they miss a lot of layups. It's going to come back and haunt you. It came back to haunt them. And the fact that Denver shot over 40% from three, that was the difference right there. But man, they had a lot of bunnies during that game that they should have made. Caruso, Williams, SGA, Hartenstein, Chet, they all missed bunnies. Easy ones too. And it's just
Chet and SGA were combined 14 of 41 from the field. And Denver can live with Jalen Williams being the leading scorer. I mean, I love Jalen Williams, but
Oh,
if
Div
Jalen,
I was going to say, Div, I answered your question from the other day in the chat.
But
on
it-
the comments.
but if Jalen Williams is your leading scorer, Joe, you're not winning 4 out of 7 against Denver. SGA has to be the guy, and 18 points isn't going to get it done.
Well,
even with the triple double,
this
he played a terrible game by his standards.
and this would be bad too because you're talking about a team that was 2 wins away from winning 70.
Mm.
Not a lot talking about that. But
Now you're 2 games away from being eliminated.
now you're 2 games away from being eliminated. And Presti, who just won Executive of the Year, is going to have to go to another level this summer. And I would implore him to say, I got to go get a second guy. And he's got to go after Giannis at that point. That's what I would do. Now, he can't tamper with him, but he can always call Milwaukee, right? But I got a chance to watch the end of the fourth. I got a chance to watch all of overtime. What I saw is what I normally see from a team that's young and doesn't know how to win yet, and that was Oklahoma City. This is 2 years in a row. You're going to see it. It looks like they could win Game 4 and tie it up and get back to normal, but for them to beat. Let's say they come back down 2-1. Let's say they win it in 6 or 7. That'll help them build a little bit more character and give them kind of like a breather. Oh. We went through the Denver veteran MVP guys. And by the way, props to Aaron Gordon. Aaron Gordon, Jeff mentioned this when we were texting. He said Aaron Gordon's the new Robert Horry, and I agree with him. He's been on fire lately from Clutchville. But if Oklahoma City loses this series, they're going to have to go after another star. They're going to have to at some point. Presti's going to have to use those draft picks, and he's going to have to give up some young talent to win it now because you're just kind of wasting time at this point if you can't win when you win 68 games. And with that, I'm going to be shutting down now, folks. It was a hell of a night. This was not planned, but let's thank the top of the ninth Dodgers and, of course, Shohei Ohtani for birthing the hour and 25 minutes of the show, being able to talk to all our friends here, Div and Mark and Vari and Aaron and all you guys. For those of you who don't know, I will be at the Yankee game on May 30th. It's a Friday. And there's a very big likelihood that I'll be there the next day on the 31st. So it's going to be a fun weekend in a few weeks. Until then, we'll be obviously doing shows here and there as the season continues. And if there's nothing else, Sean, would you like any parting words for the evening before you hit the hay?
Yes, before Game 3, fuck Boston.
Amen to that. Gerald, any last words?
Sean said it all for me. F Boston, man. If they go up 3-0, and I don't care. I don't care how much Spike is dancing up a storm. If he is, that's fine by me because that means they're up 3-0 and they have won the series. Just by all the statistics, all the metrics. I would love to see that happen. I mean, that would be really, really, really awesome. I don't care who else would win. But that's fine. If Boston loses, that's fine. Actually, you know what? I'm rooting for Sports Baby. They asked me during the playback, what was I rooting for? I said, if there's any team, I'm going to go ahead and root for Sports Baby's team because he's been with us the whole season. So shout out to Sports Baby.
Well,
Let's go Pacers.
The last really, really important game that I saw the Knicks win was the 94 Game 5 finals game when they took the 3-2 lead, and we basketball people assumed they were going to at least win the next two, one of the next two, and they went on to lose both in Houston. Famously, the 7th game where John Starks missed the ocean, throwing every piece of trash in it and still missing. So tomorrow's game isn't a must win, but what they would do if they want it is win a game that could really, really set the stage for what could happen at the end of this. If they lose game 3, it goes back to the Knicks. You go through all this and you lose at home, because they've had some epic losses at home, by the way.
Mhm.
And I know they had to deal with Michael Jordan and Reggie Miller, and I know that's a big
Even last
factor.
year.
Yeah. And even last year, yeah. But this can't happen if you want to really, really put this into another area. You want to Villanova the Knicks with all your Villanova guys. I want there to be. I want Tom Thibodeau to win a championship so that there's a little bit of a poke in modern basketball, because he's one of the few that still has the let's run Derrick Henry first, pass second philosophy. And I say this to this day, the biggest mistake made that offseason when Tom Brady was available was Tennessee Titans not getting him. If the Tennessee Titans get Tom Brady, the Tennessee Titans would have won the Super Bowl in 2020. And I believe the Niners would have done it too if they had went and got him. But if ands and buts, I guess that's just kind of how we dialogue these days. Good discussions. You know, you fantasize about what could have been. Sometimes it is fun. But in the meantime, the most important part for us as Laker fans is we can't. I don't care if the Knicks win this series in 4 or win it in 7. Just win it so that we can relax and enjoy the playoffs, so that we have to worry about the Celtics winning it all and going up 2. That is the most important part. And the best thing about that, too, is we all know that the Celtics, as constructed, will be over. They will not have the depth that they have now again, because they are going to have to deal with their massive tax, massive salary issues that are going to be coming about. So with that, I want to thank you all again for being here tonight. Sean, Gerald, we'll do this again here in the next days, week, whatever, however it plays out. And everyone else, thank you for being here. By the way, we're on, let me do another refresh real quick. We are almost to 100. I am on 99. So the next show we'll celebrate hitting the 3 digits already in subscribers. So for those of you who have subscribed and listened and watched, thank you so much. We're going to be on our next digit, which would be the 4-digit 1,000 mark. I'll have a 500 and I'll have 1,001 just to kind of make it fun. But until next time, we'll see you next time.